Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz, and I'm joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and we are going through all our must-add players after Week 14, aka entering Week 15, the Fantasy Football Playoffs. Here's how it's going to work. We're going to go position by position. We're going to pick our best player at that position. If we pick the same guy, we'll do a trivia tiebreaker, and then someone will get that guy, and someone will have to pick a different guy. It's not that complicated. You'll figure it out, I promise. Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com if you want trivia questions to send us. Send us your fantasy courts for Power Hour. We're going to be hitting DK's mock draft, getting into the NFL draft show coming up. Power Hour, we're going to be doing draft show on Wednesdays for the entire offseason. Listen to us in the offseason, playoffs, the whole thing. We don't go anywhere.
We never stop.
We never stop. We never stop. Sometimes we should, but we never do. So we're going to keep rolling. To be totally honest, a lot of these players suck. And if you made the playoffs, then you probably don't need these players, but we are going to go through because there are injuries and we're going to go through certain situations, starting with, unfortunately, Panthers running back Jonathon Brooks, the rookie who tore his ACL at Texas last year, and the Panthers traded up for in the second round of the draft, tore his ACL again on Sunday.
Brutal.
Same ACL? Same knee?
Yeah.
The same ACL. DK, you compared Jonathon Brooks to small Mondre Stevenson. We were excited for Jonathon Brooks. Yeah, I guess that now is not the right time for the small Mondre.
Now.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Ramondre's good. He is.
I don't know if I want my first overall or my first round draft pick to be compared to Ramondre.
It's like if Ramondre was smaller and you're like, oh, and maybe it's too somber of a comparison.
Well,
for the
Ramondre, he's about the same size as Jonathon Brooks, but for whatever reason, he just seems bigger.
DK, Jonathon Brooks was considered the best running back in this draft. This is a guy, of course, that Jerry Jones waxed poetic about how he's the best interview in the combine in 30 years. And then his son had to elbow him, be like, we haven't picked him yet, Dad. And then the Panthers traded up to leapfrog him. DK, what is the history of players who tore their ACL twice in 1 year before playing in the NFL for like 25 snaps? Is this like it for Jonathon Brooks?
Probably not a lot of guys that did that and then came back and were like superstars, but he's still young, could come back. Obviously, if the younger you are, the quicker you heal, the better you tend to heal.
I mean, what's funny now, not funny. Sorry, that's actually the worst word. But
no, it's fine. Just,
Do you think now,
canceled.
So it's like, obviously the question is going to be, did they bring him back too early? And now he tore his ACL, December 8th? So is he going to come back next year? It'll probably be right around November, December next year when they think he'll be physically able to practice and do everything. And then they're going to almost be confronted with the exact same scenario again.
That is that's actually a really good point, Craig, because you're right, because he tore his ACL in October of last year and they didn't really play until Thanksgiving.
Right.
And then,
so now what?
So now you're right. Fuck, you're right.
Well, there was a lot of speculation because it took him so long to come back and because he's been so slow coming back that there was some type of setback or whatever in his progress during this season at some point. We just didn't hear about it. So
now it feels like he's not going to play a snap until his third year.
It feels like it would probably be the prudent thing to do is just to wait until year 3. But
at that point, it's like his rookie contract's almost over. I mean, I think the thing we always talk about, honestly, someone emailed this in and was like, this is the best analysis you guys have ever given on the show, and you guys forgot about it this year, is that you don't ever want injured players the year after the injury. You want them the year after the injury, like Saquon, like a lot of guys were basically, TJ Hawkinson's a good example, where next year TJ Hawkins is going to be, you get hurt in December, and then you come back in August and we see a player on the field. We're like, oh, he's back. He's healthy. Not really. Your mind does not trust your knee yet.
Chris Godwin. I know Chris Godwin got hurt this year, but it was a different injury he suffered this year. But this was the year after the year after.
The year after, because you just do not gain. Again, the difference between getting to the 95th percentile of explosiveness or 90th or whatever fake number you want to make up to get back to the NFL is not the same as getting to the 100th percentile of what you're capable of to be like great on an NFL field. Like it takes a year to return, but then it takes like another 6 months to get back to who you are. Tony Pollard, an example of that, where he looks so much better in Tennessee than he did in Dallas last year.
So like Tank Dell this year, this was not the year to draft Tank Dell, and next year will not be the year to draft like somebody like Rashee Rice, perhaps.
Exactly. Like you want, like next year you want Tank Dell and you want TJ Hawkinson, and you do not want Rashee Rice or Chris Godwin. Like and so with Jonathon Brooks,
so are we having to wait till 2027 to take Jonathan Taylor or Jonathan
2026?
Brooks?
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Because there's next year's 2025,
not the 25 season. You don't want him the 26 season because the 26
that's
season
his rookie year.
is the first year back. So it's the 27 season that you want him.
So it's like a Juan Soto contract situation. It's like 2040 will be cashed in.
This is so brutal.
Yeah, it sucks. Imagine being him. That sucks.
I know. Coming back from injury
Yeah.
has got to be like such a grueling mental battle. Getting to the place where you feel comfortable, getting to the place where you're confident, and then like they pull the rug out. He's got the rug pulled out from him again. I know I've heard many like reports of guys going through these injury rehabs where they just get like really depressed, and it's like actually really, really hard, not just physically but mentally. So yeah,
Saquon's talked about that. The other thing that you don't think about, I mean, obviously, especially in the pandemic, I think a lot of people I definitely felt this more. Like if you're not doing physical activity, obviously, like it's bad for your mental health. But if you take that to the professional athlete level, where there's more stress on them. But professional athletes are the most creatures of habit you've ever seen. Like, you know what I mean? Like every moment of their day is planned. They don't want any disruptions to their day. So you take a player, and there's a mental isolation too, because you're not in your habit. You're not in your habits. You're not around your teammates because you're rehabbing. So you're kind of alone, and you're not getting the physical activity you're used to. It's really brutal for these guys in recovery. So I feel really bad for Jonathon Brooks. Honestly, it sucks, and it would be really cool to watch him. So we'll see whenever he comes back. But yeah, with that said, Chuba Hubbard's the guy in Carolina. So anyway, that's rather somber beginning. And then Craig's canceled for calling him Small Mondre right off the bat. You know what I mean? But
I didn't call him that.
Not really. That was me. I'm kidding. But
well, technically it was me because you were reading my scatter report.
No, well, you called him that. But when he was not hurt again, that was like in good taste. I feel like I did it in poor taste. But either way, we'll go to the running back waivers.
Hey, look, Klay Thompson tore his Achilles and his ACL back-to-back years, came back, won a title.
Dude, yeah. We have an email about that later, actually. A dad take about Klay Thompson and the Warriors.
Oh, interesting.
Should we just
Does
do
this
it now?
mean we're in on Nick Chubb next year after the year after? Not really. He's getting older. This is like the third knee injury he's had.
That's... Ooh. I mean, Nick Chubb, my spoiler alert, we're going to do New Year's resolutions toward the end of the year, memento tattoos, things we want to remember. Spoiler alert. My main memento tattoo is I'm going all Marie Kondo on fantasy next year. I want people who spark joy, and I'm eliminating people who provide toxic toxicity in my life. Yeah. I'm stealing it from my former roommate, Brian. And it's like, I want people who make me happy on my team. I will not rank Kyle Pitts if I stick true to my guns because he doesn't make me happy. He makes me very sad.
Just throw him out.
Chubb
if he doesn't spark joy, throw him out.
Yeah, fuck him. Nick Chubb, I will take Nick Chubb before Kyle Pitts, which mathematically is not going to be sound. But Nick Chubb makes me happy. He's a great person to root for. And I hope he will be good. Maybe he'll be terrible. But yeah.
I think mathematically it might be sound to take Nick Chubb over Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, you know why? Because Nick Chubb, he gains yards in football games.
Yeah.
Which Kyle Pitts really does. Okay. Running back waivers. Weird week. If you have been listening to this show over the season, first of all, thank you. Second of all, you've probably sick of hearing us talk about Stash Braylon Allen and Stash Shark Charbonnet and Stash, who's the other one? Tyler Algier. And then they all ended up being relevant this week, which is funny. So we'll go through these again, but needless to say, if those guys are available somehow still, like go get those guys. I'm sure they're not. Weird week because Isaac Guerrero, who we said was a must get, was exactly what we thought he would do. Almost 130 yards from scrimmage and then 2 touchdowns. And then he got hurt with a foot sprain. DK, is your number one running back to add this week Patrick Taylor on the Niners, even though Isaac Guerrero says that he's like okay with the foot sprain?
I think so, because players are notorious liars, especially like in the moment when I think your adrenaline is still flowing and maybe you don't feel the pain quite as much as like you do like the day after, or whatever.
The only honest player ever was Michael Gallup, who was like, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, I think it's probably the smartest and maybe the highest upside play to go for Patrick Taylor. Obviously, we saw what Guerrero did today or yesterday on Sunday when he had 2 touchdowns. He's in a good offense, good rushing offense. The next couple of games, the 49ers play against the Rams, at the Dolphins, and then the final game of the fantasy playoffs against the Lions, who have a really good run deep. But yeah, I think at least if you're looking for like a 1 week filler, this could be the guy. If you're looking for, for the entire playoffs, the entire fantasy playoffs, Tank Bigsby might be a better choice, or Sincere McCormick for the Raiders. Oh,
if Tank Bigsby's available, I think he's better than all these guys. Etienne played and Tank Bigsby got 18 carries.
Bigsby had 18 carries.
I think he's rostered. If Tank Bigsby's not rostered, I think he's definitely number one.
He's only 46% on Yahoo. Tank.
I think. Well, we all agreed Tank would be the guy if he was available, right?
Yes, I agree.
I have doubts. Yeah, I think if Tank's there. I agree, DK, about Patrick Taylor.
Bigsby is 35% on ESPN. So that's
35.
the reason,
Wow,
that's the
35
reason
and 46.
I included him
That
in this
might be
list.
an
I
indictment
think,
on-
like, obviously, if he's out there, he's the starter for the Jags. They have the Jets, Raiders, and Titans during the fantasy playoffs. So, I mean, not ideal necessarily. That Raiders game looks pretty good. But I don't know. I almost rather just take a guy in a really good offense. So that's why Patrick Taylor, I think, is at least in that discussion. So
I would do Bigsby over Taylor, especially because you don't know if Guendo's going to play or not. I will say the two guys that I'm thinking of, and again, I think Bigsby's probably rostered in competitive leagues, but like if he's
we can
if he's there,
exclude
go
him
get
on
him.
this one. Sure.
I think what's up?
I said we can exclude him on this for the show.
It's weird because I think the rostership, I think, is a really good thing to use in the beginning. And then December, it's kind of like, I think a lot of the ESPN public leagues, it's based on fade. I don't know what to do with it sometimes. But I think the interesting thing with Patrick Taylor and the Niners, they're playing on Thursday Night Football versus the Rams. And then the other guy I think is worth considering, and actually my number one ad outside of Tank Bigsby is Sincere McCormick for the Raiders, because they're on Monday Night Football. And realistically, if you're in the playoffs, I don't think you're adding anyone off waivers and playing them this week. There's no buys. I think what's happening is if you have injured people, you need a replacement. And so I think that Sincere McCormick is perfect, because if you have someone or even a receiver in your flex spot that you don't know what to do with, and then you want to play them on Sunday, and then, it turns out they're a game time decision like a Ladd McConkey this week or George Pickens at crazy scratch. Sincere McCormick going on Monday Night Football actually is good enough tiebreaker to me, because like they're the last game of the whole week. There's 2 Monday Night Football games this week. There's Bears, Vikings, and Falcons, Raiders. So I like the idea of Sincere McCormick, who's just the starting running back for the Raiders now and runs harder, as Austin Gale, who is a Raiders fan here at the Ringer, was telling us, just like
he's got some
runs
juice.
harder. And
He's a little bowling ball.
I like him.
Yeah.
And he also was giving this interview where he was like, I just run every play like it's my last. And he was very sincere. And I think it's nominative determinism. No,
You
he
should have
is
said
earnest.
Yeah, I was going to say
Oh,
you should have said
fuck.
Ernest.
That would have been so much funnier. Anyway, so that I think it's Sincere McCormick, just because realistically for what you'll just need someone on Monday Night Football who can play if someone is hurt and can't play for you. That's my take. Because it's Ken Walker or Breece Hall. It's like all these people that like, you don't know if Ken Walker's going to play this week. You don't know if Breece Hall is going to play this week, but you like, or Guerendo. And I think you need a backup plan more than you need a starter. So that's
So we all agreeing on Sincere then as the number one option, assuming Tank is not out there for you.
Ernest Magic McCormick.
Sure. But if Guerendo is not playing, it becomes Patrick Taylor immediately.
Yes. And and that's the flip side, is the Thursday Night Football makes
Guerendo might not be
less
playing.
Yeah. But then again, maybe Kyle Shanahan doesn't care about people.
I mean, that's fair.
So should we do, if Patrick Taylor's playing and Guerendo's out, Taylor over McCormick, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
me.
you won't know.
So then
by
we should do the
time.
trivia for Patrick Taylor, right?
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Let's do
Just infinitely better offense.
The fifth running back on the Niners. Okay.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's
Well,
just practice
he's
squad
the new
season.
he's the new number one, so that's all that matters.
Should we actually just skip to the part where we take his backup? Should we just
They also,
skip?
Who is that?
the
Keyshawn Vaughn?
Izzy
Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah.
And
Izzy Abanaconda, who they signed like 8 days ago.
Yeah.
Things are bleak for the 49ers right now.
Low-key, Patrick Taylor's the last guy who actually knows the plays. Like, I'm
Right.
not going to lie. Like,
Right.
this is like, every time they have another guy. He's the last one. Everyone else has not been on this team for more than like a week.
And they can't even really give Debo, James Harden, Samuel carries anymore.
No. Debo, James Harden, and then who's the other one? Oh, Marvin Harrison is just Tobias Harrison.
Tobias Harrison Jr. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Patrick Taylor.
All right. It is the Patrick Taylor Week 15 playoff showdown time.
Ooh, timed it.
The gong is the best part of my whole week. The first gong.
It does center me. It feels good.
We used to do quiet time in the show before we start recording. We would do 5 seconds of.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Back when Craig produced the show, we needed like 5 seconds of silence just to it's the thing when you record, you need the
get
sound
room
of the
tone.
Yeah. And it was actually, and we all started just like closing our eyes and meditating for 5 seconds, and it felt like and it was like became like the only part of my week that was pure. Anyway, the gong is that now.
Yeah.
All right. This question's from Alex.
Lex.
Boys, I gotta let you know we got good questions right now. It's a good range.
Nice.
Fans are cooking.
Alex writes, since beginning in the year 2000, and including seasons that have filmed but not yet aired, how many total days has Jeff Probst filmed on location in the United States, in or outside of the United States for Survivor? I don't know why I wrote in and out. Just how many times has he filmed on location for Survivor?
How many days?
Days has Jeff
How many
Probst
days?
the host and EP of Survivor, which we were talking about on Friday because we were talking about what is the best job. And we were like, damn, Jeff Probst's not working 9 months a year and then working 2 or 3 months a year to stay in a Ritz-Carlton and walk outside for a few hours a day is pretty sick.
What a legend, man. What a life.
I have no fucking idea.
I got close-ish. I gave my guess already. I got close-ish. Ballpark will beat me.
All right, I'm ready.
I guess.
3, 2, 1.
2,000.
10,000.
I lost to Craig. I said 2,400. I thought it was just like 2 months for 20 years, for 40 seasons or whatever.
I did 50 times 40. I was like roughly 50 seasons. I believe Survivor's around 40 days.
Yeah. The answer is 1,770. 1,770
Oh, that's
days.
it.
So less than 2 months a year for On Location for 20 seasons. For 20
and half
years.
of those now have been just in Fiji, probably at some beautiful hotel. In the beginning stages, when they were in like Australia and Africa and China.
Oh my God.
I'm not exactly sure where he was staying nowadays. And especially it's like he wasn't famous then. They didn't know if the show was going to work then. Now he's probably fucking White Lotusing every single week.
Yeah. Stuff. Wow. Joe. All right. So Craig, you get Patrick Taylor. I'll take Sincere McCormick again. He's the starting running back for the Raiders. He's starting running back in the NFL. And like it's week 15. Beggars can't be choosers. And he's a starting running back on an
Great
NFL
name.
team.
Best
And
running back name in the NFL?
Sparks Joy. Sincere. Oh, that's great. Ranking names. Small Mondre Stevenson, number 2.
This is his real name.
Yeah, what?
No, it's a joke. No, Sincere McCormick's 1.
I mean, like Saquon Barkley's a sick name.
I think Saquon has to be 2. Low-key Derrick Henry's really low.
Patrick Taylor?
Patrick Taylor's low. Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard's a good one. Everyone calls him Chuba, but it's Chuba.
Chuba's good.
Kamani Vidal?
Dude, Kamani Vidal, you could convince me was an F1 racer. You could convince me he was a porn star.
Oh, Tank Bigsby's good. That's another porn star.
Yeah. Tank Bigsby, come on. Oh, is that did we just forget the secret? The secret? Oh, just the secret. That was really awkward.
Alvin Kamara. Jameer Gibbs.
That's a good one.
Jameer Gibbs is a good football name. Kamani Vidal could be anything.
DeAndre Swift is a really good name.
Swift is sick. I still think Kamani Vidal, you could be on the cover of GQ. That could be an actor. He could be the lead in Wicked.
Yeah.
Like Kamani Vidal could be anything.
Kamani Vidal is like interesting.
Yeah. It sounds like the new celebrity thing. What is the new celebrity thing, DK? Kamani Vidal and Pancake get caught flipping a grunt.
Zusha and K-Smog.
K-Smog.
K-Smog and Kamani. Oh my God.
Flipping a grunt.
All right.
I think it's Saquon, Swift, and Sincere. Yeah. I think that's the top 3.
DK, who else are you going to take? So Craig's taking Patrick Taylor because of for the Niners, and then I'm taking Sincere McCormick.
I'm going with Sean Tucker for the Buccaneers. 2 straight games, Bucky Irving has been nicked up. He got injured in this last one with a back injury, so he re-aggravated a back injury. Back injuries are hard to predict, I think. And especially considering he got hurt again when he came back into this game, even though he probably shouldn't have played in this game, in other words. So I think they'll take their time with him. And so, in this game, Rachaad White got like the vast majority of the action. But I think if going forward, they probably will try and do a little bit more of a split. So Sean Tucker, as we saw earlier in the season, he's got some juice, man. And
kind of the Sincere McCormick of the Bucs.
Yeah. So I'm just going to see how that goes. I'm assuming that Bucky Irving is probably going to miss a little bit of time. So Sean Tucker, especially this week. And then if Irving misses more time, then that's just extra bonus for you.
If Bucky Irving misses time, this is a really good call.
Yeah. The other guy to throw out here, Kendre Miller for the Saints. He had 10 rushes. He looked pretty good. I think the Rizzler likes him a lot and kind of like wants to make up for the whole Dennis Allen debacle.
The Dennis Allen thing, we haven't talked about it a ton, but Dennis Allen literally put a player on injured reserve because he was mad at him.
Yeah.
Put him on timeout.
Like there could be like a union grievance over that. That's crazy. He tweaked his hamstring and put him on injured reserve. Also, there's a limited number of spots for that. It's like a reckless. It's
I love the Dennis Allen thing. So funny. But I don't know if they start to use him more, especially if the season is kind of crumbling for the Saints. Derek Carr is out for the season. Maybe they don't lean quite so hard on Alvin Kamara in meaningless games down the stretch. And I think Kendre Miller could be the guy to take advantage of that.
That's better than all the ones I had. And I wish I thought of that, DK. I think that's an excellent point.
Yeah. And then Jerome Ford for the Browns. He's actually been playing. He outsnapped and outtouched Chubb last week. Isaiah Davis for the Jets. If they continue to put Breece Hall on the shelf for a little while here. Again,
Fleece
this is another
Hall?
situation where there's no real reason. There was a report that said they're not going to shut Breece Hall down.
You don't think they're going to give him 38 carries like they did in Week 18 last year?
Dude, they might. I wouldn't put it past them.
To your point, for all that we gave Braylon Allen as the back of the Jets, it's pretty humbling to see Isaiah Davis get like one fewer snap and one fewer touch than Braylon Allen.
Good, honestly.
So if Breece Hall misses, Isaiah Davis is totally playable. Yeah,
the Jets have like the best running back group in the NFL, I think.
No, and the schedule
for the
for
Lions,
the Jets,
I should say.
The schedule for the Jets down the next few weeks is maybe the best one in all fantasy for running backs. So like if you could get Isaiah Davis, if Breece Hall misses time, you could play Isaiah Davis in like any size league and you might be totally fine.
There's no reason to bring Breece Hall back quickly. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point?
Well, yeah, I don't know what they got going on over there. And then, Kamani Vidal played for the Chargers. He had snap Gus Edwards. And he catches passes. I think it's really rare you get a rookie running back in a backfield of veterans and like he's the one doing the passing game stuff. So Kamani Vidal could be sneaky valuable. Yeah, so there's actually a weird amount of solid candidates, I guess.
So I'm going with Sean Tucker.
Cool. All right, wide receivers. I think I don't know. I had Romeo Doubs to the Packers, and I actually have a similar logic because frankly, I think a lot of these guys on waivers are the same. And my difference is no one actually wants to play Romeo Doubs, whether it's the playoffs or like your team sucks and you don't want to be in last place. But again, I look at it as the Packers are playing on Sunday Night Football versus your Seahawks, DK. And I look at Romeo Doubs as an excellent backup break glass in case of emergency if one of your various injured players can't go on Sunday. So I think that to me is a good enough tiebreaker over all the other guys, but I'm curious what you were thinking, DK.
Well, first off, let's establish the ground rules. Does Adam Thielen count on this exercise? Because he was 53% Yahoo, 38% ESPN. I think he's kind of borderline. He would be my top choice if he's out there.
I agree. I think he's had now back-to-back weeks of basically 100 yards, and he had one touchdown the last 2 weeks.
10 targets, then 11 targets. Yeah.
If we're counting Thielen, I would take Thielen over Doubs. Yeah, fuck
I
Doubs.
would take Thielen as well. But 53%, he was probably added last week in any real league.
It's kind of borderline. The other two guys I actually like more than Doubs. I just kind of feel like I don't want anything to do with the Packers like passing game.
Well, you know what's funny is like, none of them have popped this year. I think that's like a secret story of the Packers is that none of these guys really took off. My beloved Christian Watson got hurt early in the year. It never really worked out. Jaden Reed has been super up and down. Dontavian Wicks has had every opportunity to step up. There has been tons of injuries, and it's not happening.
Wicks is like a more polished Quentin Johnson. He can't catch.
Yeah, he can't catch.
Though. And
Doubs is the most actually consistent player. I mean, every time they're all on the field, he's the one really who is kind of seeing the most consistent level of targets.
Yeah.
But I don't
he's
know.
at the X. And
like Heifetz, I think you said it's like whack-a-mole. Like I just don't want to have anything to do. Like Jaden Reed had 0 in this last game.
The Packers remind me of, they're kind of like trying to predict Taysom Hill, where it's like, the whole point is Matt LaFleur wants to be unpredictable. And so it's like, when will Taysom Hill pop? I'm like, I don't know. That's the whole point.
Didn't he say something like, Matt LaFleur said something like, it makes me want to puke when you say the term number one receiver.
Yeah, he said he wants, he did. That is exactly what he said.
That makes me want to fucking puke when you say that. I'm like, that doesn't make me really want to invest in your guys in fantasy. That's fine.
Fair. But fine, I'll go Thielen with you guys. Thielen's available.
Okay, cool.
All right. Shouts out Thielen, man. He's been doing this
doing it
so long. Every time I'm like, they sent him to the Panthers. We'll never hear from him again. Nope. It is the Adam Thielen showdown time.
I like this question. This one's from Emily.
I like that laugh. I like this question.
Beebs. The Beaver. I like that laugh.
I like that laugh.
Oh my God.
Full disclosure, we were just cracking up about this yesterday after the show.
At like fucking midnight. We were just dying laughing at the Maria Menounos Justin Bieber clip from 2012 or something.
All right, this one's from Emily.
Emily.
This weekend, Taylor Swift's Era Tour performed its final 3 shows in Vancouver.
Oh, no.
The Eras Tour opened on St. Patrick's Day, 2023 in Glendale, Arizona.
Wow.
How many total shows did Taylor Swift perform on the Eras Tour?
Wow.
I think this is a great question.
March 23
of 2023. I thought this was a really good question.
Great
so 18
question.
months. 18 months. What is that? Yeah.
Heifetz, have you been to the Eras Tour?
No, we watched it. Jackie and I watched it on when it came out on Disney Plus because it felt like it was too much money to go when I don't love Taylor Swift enough to pay like what it cost. but it was too much in the zeitgeist to like not watch the concert. So we watched the video. We watched the.
I did go last year in August.
Was it fun?
It was great. Honestly,
that's a dumb question.
It was amazing. It was like 3.5 hours. There was great openers. She killed it. It's like not only are you like, oh, these are great songs. This is like the most popular music of the last 15 years of my life. But also just like as a physical feat, watching her do it day in and day out is very impressive.
It is real. It is like really impressive. And it really distorts. This is a fucked up thing to say, but it kind of distorts your view of other concerts, which is probably really rude. But like, it's almost like, because Springsteen goes for like 4 hours, right? But it's like just her, it's like 4 hours, right?
Yeah, 3.5 hours.
And it's like, I had friends who went to like a Billie Eilish concert, which are also very expensive now. Rodrigo, all the like the Powder Puff, like the what was that cartoon when we were kids on Cartoon Network?
Powder Puff Girls?
My friends call them the Powder Puff Girls, like Chappell Roan and Sabrina Carpenter.
Feels
and Billie
regressive,
Eilish.
but okay.
Well, they're women. I didn't make up the term. That's what they call
I'm just
them.
kidding.
I didn't make up the term. But anyway, it's like the expense to go see Olivia Rodrigo. And they went to Billie Eilish. It was like 90 minutes. And they were like, what? And I'm like, that's a long time to play 90 minutes. But the Eras tour was, just 3 guys. I feel like that meme of the 11-year-olds around a table being like, the Eras tour was really good.
I know.
That Taylor Swift plays a long time.
You could use that. You could use that meme with a lot of the stuff.
She literally added an entire album halfway through this tour and then incorporated that into the show.
That's crazy. Anyway.
Take a vacation.
This is a great question. How many did she do?
All right, I got a number.
Wait, the email included something else that I know that's cheating if I don't share it. She said the course of its run visited 21 countries, which did change my answer. I also don't know the answer to this. I have to Google it, so I'm going to guess with you guys. She did not include the answer.
21 countries.
Yeah, that changed my answer a lot, actually. I like double. I kind of want to double it now when I read that.
Because she probably just jammed him in whenever she went to those countries.
You guys are thinking about it too much now. You're doing the math.
Okay, yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
180.
180, 130. What'd you say, DK?
I said 250. Probably too high.
I basically did once every 3 days.
How many Eras tour concerts? You ever watch other people Google stuff and be like, you're doing it wrong? Holy shit. Wait, what did you guys say?
180.
250.
Oh, fuck. Craig's going to be right. 149.
Ooh.
No, I think you're right, Heifetz. You said 130.
Oh, yeah, I'm right.
Look at that. The
Sick.
guy who had all day to think of the answer.
Yeah, well.
Just kidding.
So I'll take...
that's not that many. I feel like she should have gotten to 150.
I feel like she will. I feel like it's 150. I feel like this article's... Well, she's doing one more. So
How could you stop at 149?
I don't think they're going to stop at 149.
DK, she was so close to you. She was in Vancouver. You could have popped over this weekend.
I know. I could have. But I had a thing.
Carried on living my life.
Yeah. I just carried on living my life.
I didn't hear anything. Did she bring out anybody? Was there a big grand finale?
I don't know.
Are you asking
DK,
me?
I realize now, DK, you're in the exact age range to kind of miss all of Taylor Swift because you're too young to have a kid who listens to Taylor Swift, but I feel like you're too old to like have listened to her like when she started going. You were like in college when it first.
Yeah. I remember. I still remember.
You're
like
in your early 20s.
I was like dating a girl in 2006 or something that like was kind of into Taylor Swift, but she was like
flex
this brand new thing coming up in like 18 years old or something like that. First album.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of like what I remember of it, but I never became like a fan or whatever.
All right. Well, canceled. Okay. I get Thielen. Craig, who are you going to take?
I'll take Doubs.
Yeah. I think, again, I think it's solid just having a decent, solid receiver on.
I do think you can't go wrong with a Browns wide receiver.
That's why I'm surprised you're taking Doubs. I'm taking Elijah Moore. And then slightly lower, I guess, Cedric Tillman, because he's still dealing with this concussion thing. I took him last week, but then it turned out that he didn't get back to practice. So I'm to play it safe this time, and hopefully Cedric Tillman comes back very soon. But Elijah Moore, he only had 4 targets in this last game against the Steelers. That was a tough game. But like the 5 games before that, 14 targets, 5 targets, 8, 9, and 12 targets.
I'm having I'm having one of those love-hate relationships with Elijah Moore because I'm having one of those situations where in week 8 he had 12 points, so I added him and started him in week 9. Then he had 4.
Yeah.
Then he went on bye. Then he came back. He scored 15 points. I was like, awesome, he's back. I started him the next week. He had 3, so I benched him. The following week he had 15, so I started him again last week, and he had 4. He is very hit or miss, but if you get on the right circuit and you're getting him at the right time, it seems to be every other week he's putting up 15 fantasy points.
And on that note, with Craig never making the right decision, remember, none of us took Nick Westbrook-Akine. So once again, Nick Westbrook-Akine versus the Bengals, he'll actually be the guy to score a touchdown again this week because we picked him. The 1 week we picked him is the week he did not score a touchdown. What is it? He had 9 touchdowns and 20 catches, and then we pick him and he didn't get one. So now we're off the Nick Westbrook-Akine train. Probably just go get him. Also, want to just shout out Trey Tucker, Raiders. Desmond Ritter's probably going to play quarterback for the Raiders because Aiden O'Connell was he air cast? I don't think he's going to play.
No, he's out. He's
He's donezo.
By the way, I don't know what an air cast is. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to tell you guys this forever. I no clue what that means either. I
don't know what that is.
Just kind of.
I'm pretty sure.
Wait, fuck, knock on wood.
I am not 100% sure on this, but I believe it's where it's typically used if
it's
you
an
have
old wooden ship.
Oh yeah.
Diversity. Is that an old? I believe that's an old wooden ship. No, I think I'm pretty sure, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like typically used for compound fractures. In other words, like when your bone comes out of your leg.
Oh, I do know.
And
what it
is like they wrap your leg in it, and then I believe they like pump it up like it's like a thing, so it like compresses and like puts pressure. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know exactly.
Yeah,
what it is,
that sounds right.
I'm a doctor, so to stabilize perhaps the weird shape of your leg, and also keep everything locked and loaded. Yeah.
The thing is, when you have an air cast, that's a really bad sign. That's all.
Remember that year we took Tony Pollard in the top 12, the year he was air casted off that same leg. Anyway, I'll never forget that. Trey Tucker, all that's to say, Desmond Ridder will play for the Raiders. Nate Yonke at PFF pointed this out. When Desmond Ridder came in week 12, he threw like 4 of his first 5 passes to Trey Tucker. So if you're in a deep league and you're fucking desperate, I would play Trey Tucker.
Dude, the Raiders, man,
suck.
Desmond Ridder, Sincere McCormick, and Trey Tucker heading into week 15.
Brutal.
Tight end. DK is your number 1 tight end for week 15.
So this is another one where we have to decide if he counts. Hunter Henry for the Patriots, 40% on Yahoo. I think a lot of people dropped him because he was on a bye this last week.
Yeah.
Anyone coming off a bye, I think we should talk about because totally fair that people cut him.
Especially last week where everybody was like, last week was probably the most active waiver wire in a month.
Wild West. You don't know who's available off a bye.
But in the last 5 games prior to the bye, 9, 8, 9, 4, 8 targets. So he's a huge part of this passing game with Drake Maye at quarterback, and he's I think easily the number 1 tight end to add here.
Yeah, if we're counting again, he's probably not available, but check low key. Like go to your league transactions and see who people cut last week. Yeah, Hunter Henry. Easy.
I agree. All right, it is the Hunter Henry showdown time.
It's my favorite question in a few weeks.
Wow. No pressure.
This is from, oh no, I made sure to write down their name and I screwed it up. This is from Barclay.
Barclay Center.
Bark.
How many bridges cross the Amazon River?
What a question.
What a wild question.
There's actually nothing I might as well just answer it because there's nothing I could think about that will help me.
Does this count like all the estuaries and little offshoots, or is it like, are we talking like big ass, wide, girthy river?
I don't know what estuary means. I thought that was a hormone.
It's estrogen.
Got it.
You're saying if it's like a little 5-foot thing, does that count?
Barclay did not mention whether there were bridges that crossed the estuaries of the Amazon.
Estuary wasn't even the right word I was looking for. I meant like
tributary.
Tributary is what
Have you seen the map of the tributaries of the Mississippi River? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Looks like blood vessels. It's crazy. Life.
An estuary is the mouth of a large river where the tide meets the stream.
I thought that was a delta.
That's not what I meant then. What's that?
It says it's similar to a delta.
Yeah.
I don't know why they both exist.
There won't be bridges above that probably.
You go to Pittsburgh, all they want to talk about is the confluence.
Oh yeah,
that's when 2 rivers meet, or 3.
Pittsburgh, it's 3
in the case of the river.
Pittsburgh, 3 rivers, right? Where the tide meets the stream. Okay, how many bridges? Amazon.
This is so ridiculous.
This is so ridiculous. I don't know. Okay. I feel like this could be like 2 or like 190, or I have no idea.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
250.
I went really high again. 250, I said.
Craig, I want you guys to know, I had 2 before Craig even just said 2 right there.
Okay. I said 17.
You have 2?
I was like, this kid, like the answer, like he had to send it for a reason, right?
Right.
Like the guy's not just like that'd be.
But DK made the right guess too, because there's either a ton or very little.
The answer is 0.
Yeah.
Oh, you devil.
Which I literally went through my process. I was like, it can't be 0. That doesn't. I'm gonna fact check
my mind. Damn it. I'm just so afraid of getting ridiculed by going out on a limb on anything that I'm always just trying to guess the most normal answer that doesn't make me look like an
Why
idiot.
are you guys afraid of being ridiculed? We're doing
of
trivia
you.
live.
It's because of you.
Of me.
Yes.
I'm going to ridicule you?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, well, get over it. I don't know. Make fun of me when I'm wrong.
All right.
I went like
That's for like a year. I thought you were mad that people
too high on all
ridiculed.
the questions. So, oh well.
So it's just so wide?
You guess 2 bridges.
There's no fucking
0
bridges?
So it's just too wide to do?
There's no way. There's no way.
9 Nile spanning bridges in Cairo alone for the Nile. 9 Nile. Say that 10 times fast. 9 Nile spanning bridges in Cairo.
Scientists recently discovered an underground river beneath the Amazon, which makes the soil unstable for building bridges.
So I got Walter Kaufman, the chair of structural engineering at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, said there is no sufficiently pressing need for a bridge across the Amazon. How the fuck is that possible?
Because
Also, while we're here, bridges are crazy. Bridges are insane. Like DK, that Nate Bargatze joke of like, I don't think I'd change history if I could go back in time.
I don't think I'd make a difference.
Bridges, every time, I am like a child still. Every time I cross a bridge, I'm like, don't get how they built this.
I don't understand how they put the pilings or whatever, the foundations down in a fucking river. That's why
bridges to me are like airplanes, where it's like when one fails, it's like a big story and people are shocked.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the fact that it works that well is crazy.
The Amazon River basin is so sparsely populated that there are very few roads that could even be connected.
Oh, that makes sense.
What happened to just building a bridge because we can, you know?
Well, it's been 100 years since we started doing shit because it was cool. All right.
Wow. So 0. God damn it.
It's the old-fashioned way. Take the river by water to cross it.
Get a boat.
Yeah.
Get a boat. Get a
Dude,
raft.
oh my God. My favorite episode, Craig and I, one of our favorite shows is Planet Earth. We're obsessed with Planet Earth. And when Planet Earth 3 came out, it was like a moment. And did we do an episode of Prestige TV? I don't remember if we did, but we were talking, but there was an episode, my favorite episode of the whole thing. They followed river dolphins in the Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
And when the Amazon floods, the river dolphins like swim. They're like blind because it's so muddy water, but they swim through the forests and the dolphins hunt in the forests. But after the episode thing was of the crew like trying to it was 25 minutes of just them being in the Amazon for 2 weeks trying to find these freaking dolphins. And like that alone was like insane of just like being in the Amazon while it's flooding and there's like a flash flood storm while they're on the water. And it's like a huge problem. And it was, anyway, Amazon's nuts.
The Amazon's scary. Yeah.
Is there a full behind the scenes of Planet Earth? Because I think they could make a documentary about the making of Planet Earth.
There is. Every episode has like a 20-minute how we made this episode, and it's just as good as the show. It's unbelievable. I would recommend. They're army ants. They're like the craziest animal in the world. There's a colony.
They can hold like 100 times their weight or something, right?
And they float, and so they cut. They're like the fish in Nemo swim down. Like they can do that whenever they want. Like they just lock arms, and so like a colony of like millions, I guess, of army ants, and they float, and so they'll attack like pirates. They're like the Iron Islands of ants, and they'll attack like whatever land they find. So they're in this boat and they're getting chased by a colony of army ants or fire ants or whatever. And they're like, it's like running, but instead of fucking boat, it's ants are chasing them on the water. Nature's nuts. Anyway, should we talk about
I'm a nope on that. I'm a nope on going to the Amazon.
Yeah, that's why there's no bridges. All right. Quarterbacks. You know what? I'm going to say it. I don't
think.
Wait,
we didn't pick our tight ends.
Oh, shit.
You get Hunter Henry.
I get Hunter Henry.
I will take... Pat Freiermuth doesn't count. I'm actually surprised how rostered Pat Freiermuth is for how inconsistent he's been all year. I guess I'll take. So Derek Carr's going to be out now. He's on IR. Oh wait, no, he's not on IR. Derek Carr. He might be back. There was just a report on that.
He broke his hand.
The Rizzler confirms Derek Carr won't be placed on IR, not giving up hope of him playing sooner rather than later.
What?
I'll probably just dial it back up again with Noah Gray, tight end for the Chiefs. 4 catches in 4 straight games. I know it's not sexy, but He's actually scoring a decent amount of touchdowns.
All right, I'll go with Juwan Johnson, I guess, even though it's Jake Haener / Spencer Rattler time. I just feel like they don't have any other guys catching passes right now, and he's just going to get the checkdowns.
Jake Haener, the Fresno kid?
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah,
I remember him from the Senior Bowl.
He's bad. Quarterbacks, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think anyone needs a quarterback. There's no buys.
All right.
And the only quarterback injury of significance is Derek Carr. And I don't know.
I feel like it's not really our job to tell people they don't need a quarterback, but
all right,
that's fine.
But I don't know. I'm like, I genuinely was looking at like the streaming numbers and I'm kind of like, but the better quarterbacks are rostered and there's no buys. And there hasn't been no buys truly without injuries for like, I don't know, 10 weeks.
I think you're right.
And if someone cut, I actually think the real answer is check if anyone cut like Bo Nix, because like there were teams where like, I saw teams that had Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix and like just teams that needed a field of roster to week 14. So I would really just say, see if a good quarterback was cut. I don't want to be like, oh, you could scrape by with like Will Levis this week. It's like Will Levis got hurt. Screw that. Like, you know, if you need to be competitive and play like Drake Maye, I guess, like, sure, Drake May's playing the Cardinals, but I'm like, actually see if someone cut Bo Nix because he was on bye. And also, actually, I guess the only other thing I'd say is if you have Stroud, fuck him. Just cut him. Like, even if Stroud plays well down the stretch, CJ Stroud against Jacksonville couldn't get 15 fantasy points. I don't know in what context you're going to put your season down to Stroud.
CJ Stroud against anybody can't get 15 fantasy
like
points. He's
week
had 20
7
points once this year.
Week 17, he plays Baltimore. Are you going to like wait to see if Stroud can throw on the Ravens defense? Like, I don't know. What matchup
might be stuck with him, unfortunately, but yeah.
What matchup is he taking advantage of? Lions shootout? He got
literally
9
nobody.
points. The Jaguars, 14 points was the Jaguars. The Cowboys, he got 11. Like, but I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do with him. So I watched him have his best game of the season, but I would rather have played Drake May than CJ Stroud. So there's my take. Add Drake May.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud. On that note, Greg, do it one more time.
Did you know that Caleb Williams has more touchdown passes than CJ Stroud this year?
Is that right?
Wow, he should big dog him.
It's been a fucking weird year.
Stroud has 15. Caleb, I'm going to just look up something that will confirm exactly what
confirming what I said.
16. One more.
Like I just make stuff up, Craig? Come on.
While we're on CJ Stroud, Craig, please just give us the Gus Johnson one more time.
Stroud on the outside. Sees Dell. Reaches out. Oh, he got it.
He laterals.
Touchdown, Texans.
Wait, Kai, do we still have the Gus Johnson interception loaded into this? Are you able to play it still?
The hero. Jack Sawyer.
Warren looking. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Unbelievable.
Jack Sawyer.
Wow, Jack Sawyer. The hero.
The hero.
Captain Jack.
Captain Jack.
I love even before the interception. I love him going, looking.
It's like a new wrinkle every time you listen to it.
It's like a great book. Yeah.
It's the first rewatchable audio clip.
Rewatchable clip.
Looking. We can do 20 minutes on that clip, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said the way he says intercepted almost has like a musical element to it. And I was like listening to it over and over.
Put it on the Wicked soundtrack. So we got an email from Zach about this Craig's Gus Johnson impersonation.
Wait, we got a what? An
email from Zach about Craig's Gus Johnson impersonation.
Zach.
From the email. All right, so Craig
reading.
Sending. Sent.
Undo. So Zach wrote, Craig ruined my daughter's lullaby music for me with his impression of Gus Johnson's call of the Ohio State-Michigan interception. My daughter is 19 months old, and she's in a sleep regression. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like something that would give DK the heebie-jeebies.
It means she's not sleeping
consistently
or like when she should be.
So Zach says she wakes up every night around 3 a.m. and wants to be held back to sleep. My wife wants me to lay her down in the crib after I soothe her and come back to bed so she does not get used to my arms. I usually put in a podcast and I accidentally fall asleep. A few nights ago, my daughter woke up and I soothed her back to sleep in our recliner. I couldn't go back to bed, so I put on her lullaby music from YouTube to relax, and I fell asleep. However, I was disturbed in my dreams by Craig doing a Gus Johnson impersonation where he said, and I quote, "Your wife is going to be mad because you've been asleep in this chair for 84 fucking minutes," with his voice steadily rising like Gus Johnson. And then the dream was so startling that I woke up and loudly yelled, "What the fuck was that?" Woke up my daughter, ruined her sleep.
God.
Your wife, upset. 84 minutes. Oh, God.
Craig,
Wow,
you're living rent-free.
I know.
Rent-free in people's heads right
It's
now.
rare that you wake up saying something from a dream. Like, that's when you really know you're in it. When you wake up going like, wow, that's pretty hardcore.
The middle of the night, like getting your kid back to sleep, you're like half conscious. Yeah, half conscious that at that time. It's like very groggy, very like you go right back into like the REM sleep suddenly. It's like I remember those nights. It's just like you feel like you're actually going insane a little bit. So this checks out.
Sometimes people like won't remember it. Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night to like go to the bathroom and something will happen and I'll say something to Liz and then she'll respond. And the next morning I'll ask her about it and she'll have no memory of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then I don't even have a kid. And sometimes I'm in that sleep where like I'm in REM and I go right into REM. And then I'm asleep for a minute, but it feels like 5 minutes. And then I wake up and I go back to REM and I have a different dream. Yeah. And like I can remember all of them.
Can anybody, if anyone listening can lucid dream, please email me.
Like where you can control what you're dreaming.
1,000%.
You know, my mom
if you
claims that she could do that when she was a kid. And as she got older, she lost the ability. But she said that when she went to sleep, when she was like, I don't know, like 10, 12, 13 years old, she said that she could basically tell herself, I want to fly in my dream. And then she would go to sleep and fly.
I have memories of doing that too. But
really?
I've lost it, yeah.
That's like the closest thing we have to a superpower.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah, that's a great snipe. Craig. Email us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com if you can lucid dream. Also, email us if we're in your dreams.
I saw some video the other day, by the way, about like the CIA. You remember how like MK Ultra back in the 60s, 70s or whatever, the CIA was doing all these crazy ass like experiments with psychedelics and everything. But there was also this one program they had where, and this could be completely bullshit. I don't know anything about it, but it was interesting. They had this experiment where they were having people who could lucid dream were also like able to either see the future or like go and find things in their dreams that turned out true. So like the experiment was when they fall asleep, they're supposed to go find this envelope, open the envelope and like remember the numbers that are on the page in the envelope. And there was a real envelope tucked away somewhere in the real world with those numbers on it. And like some people were able to accurately like go in their dreams and find this envelope and read it and then report it. It was like a double blind, like they never saw the numbers, whatever. And it was a real envelope in the real world. And they were able to like psychically go in their dream and like do this.
That's one of those stories that you hear.
That's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. I hear those stories and I'm like, I wonder if I know how any of this stuff works.
No, I don't think any of us know.
There's so much stuff in this world that is like not really explainable.
Someone once was like, you know, ever wonder if everyone can't be awake at the same time because like we're all on like a shared consciousness grid? And I was like, that's dumb. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I think about it every day. I was like, every day I'm like, no, that's dumb. That's dumb. Right? That's dumb, right?
There's only so much consciousness people can use at any given time.
Yeah. That's dumb, right? That's dumb.
It's pretty dumb.
But then I hear DK's thing and I think of it. I'm like, fuck. No, I know that's wrong. I think
there's all kinds of crazy stuff right now about like aliens living in the ocean and stuff because there were these I don't even know what the congressional hearings from people that had worked at like Area 51 and stuff, and all these people are talking about
every couple years there's one of these.
I know. And it's like as a public, I think we've become numb to anything weird because of just the last like 12 years or however long it's been of like just weirdness in our country and craziness and everything is like escalated to the point where anytime you hear like even now people are like, oh, there's aliens. And it's like, okay, what's next? Like go to the next clip, you know, on wherever you're scrolling. But yeah, these people like testified under oath to Congress or to Senate or whoever. And it was like they were saying, oh yeah, we have alien biologics, I think was the word they used. Like not like I don't know if it's like alive.
Dude, I'm always so skeptical of this stuff. They said non-human biologics, which could mean
Sure.
of fucking testing rats on the sub. I don't know. I look at all this stuff as like the same argument that like the universe is so big, alien life probably exists, means there's a huge gap between aliens exist and aliens are here because it's so big. And like, I don't know, at the end of the day, like,
I'm not trying to convince you. I'm not trying to convince you that aliens are here and real. I'm just saying this is what happened in like actual testimony
right, yeah,
in the Senate Intelligence Committee or something.
It didn't really
like,
capture the news, no.
Yeah, and it was like
it never does.
There's also like all these videos, and one like one of the most prominent one is like these Navy pilots have like have recorded all these videos, and some of them have been like released to the public. And there's like one famous one where it's like they call it the Tic Tac, and it was like this aircraft that looked like a Tic Tac, and it was
I believe those less.
Well, whatever they found, it was like on video, and these Navy pilots were testifying that they had seen this crazy like aircraft, and the maneuvers that it was doing were so beyond the physics of what like humanity understands as possible from like a biologic form. And in other words, like the G-forces that these aircraft are doing is like it would kill anything living based on like what we know, because they're just the G-forces are so strong. So like this theory is that they're like kind of shooting in and out of different dimensions and shit. Like once it gets all to that, I'm like, okay, I don't really want to know. And I just like am like, whatever, it's out in the ocean. Tell me if it is going to affect me today or whatever. Otherwise,
well, that's what the documentary Pacific Rim was for, DK. That's why they made the documentary.
Anyways, my point.
If anyone can explain the 9 dimensions thing, that would be great.
There's all this shit out there, and people don't seem to care.
What I always come back to is that I feel like the government, like the U-2 spy plane, they didn't want the Soviets to know they had broken the sound barrier, so they were totally cool with people having alien theories because they didn't want everyone to know that they had a really cool plane. And I keep thinking about, I don't know, a lot of wars going on, a lot of things being tested. I keep coming back to that. And because I think a lot of it prays on the figure UFO means unidentified flying object.
Right.
Like,
haven't they changed that term now? They don't use the term UFO anymore, right?
Yeah, they use it like, I forget the whatever. But how long are we going to do this? Is this too long or not enough? Should we keep
How long
going?
are we going to do the alien talk?
Yeah, should we keep going?
You're just such a skeptic. Why don't you just believe? Come on over to this side.
UAP now. Is it UAP? Unidentified aerial phenomena.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like low-key, like that means every like test of like a experimental drone would fit under that.
Do you think, Heifetz, do you think when you're 50, you'll still be saying low-key? I might. I'm just wondering how our jargon is going to evolve and how it's going to sit when we're truly in adulthood, you know?
I think you keep the jargon that you kind of like grew up on. It's like
in
music.
20 years, will a professor be saying low key in a college class? Unironically.
Maybe. The one that has had a lot of generational
that's wild.
Longstanding is cool. I feel like cool is like 50 years old.
Yeah, cool. It's not going out of style.
Yeah. Low key.
You guys made fun of me the other day when I said tight.
Tight.
That's tight.
Tight lives in the gray area of a cool thing to say and like an ironically funny thing to say. But I kind of
tight.
But like when I was in college or high school, tight was like ubiquitous.
Anyway, I think you should stash the Bills defense if you have a first round bye, because he's probably going to get cut playing the Lions this week, but they play the Patriots week 16. I would also, if you have a bye, I would stash maybe the Rams defense. And then this week, I would check if the Broncos got cut. The Broncos defense, they play the Colts, Anthony Richardson. So if the Broncos D got cut, I would add the Broncos. Ravens play the Giants. Ravens are kind of around. Ravens D hasn't been that good. I would do the Ravens playing the Giants. And if you're really desperate, but like, you know what? Jags are playing the Jets. Jets can't do anything. But those two in particular, Broncos or Ravens, if they're available. And then if next week, if you want to play ahead, Bills or the Rams for week 16. And, just experimenting, all the experimental weaponry on those defenses.
All right. Should we do trivia and waiver teams? Kai?
Oh, yeah. Right. Kai, get in here.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Who won, Kai?
What's up, Kai?
We talked about aliens for too long, so just tell us who won.
On the contrary, I don't think we talked about aliens enough. I think
Kai's
another
with me.
30 might work.
Yeah.
So who won? It's a good question. Let me build some tension here. Okay.
Sure.
DK came in third.
Nice.
Brutal.
Mainly because Cedric Tillman. I mean, this was an incredibly like high scoring waivers outing today, this week. DK had Sincere McCormick, Cedric Tillman, and Juwan Johnson for 22.9 points.
Wow,
Pretty good.
22 got
bad.
last. 22 usually gets first.
Not
know.
bad.
Big week. Craig, you came in second with Braylon Allen, Nick Westbrook-Akine, and Pat Freiermuth. 24.8. So tough. And then
Shouldn't have done it.
Heifetz with I think the highest scoring week. Isaac Garendo, Michael Wilson, and Noah Gray for 43.1 points.
Look at you.
No, not the highest scoring week, sadly.
You had a higher one?
Yeah, Juwan Jennings week 3 when he had 200 and whatever yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But
Wasn't
who's
that like a
counting?
late ad though? Wasn't that like a? Did we do that in the show? Didn't that news
We
break
did,
late?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
It was the topper.
Congrats, Heifetz. Kai, who you want this week?
I think I'm going to go with you. I think I'll go with the 49ers back again. Patrick Taylor, if he ends up going, I mean, that feels like an automatic dub if that happens. So I'll take the swing.
Thank you, DK. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Kai. Thank you, Carlos and Kai. Thank you, Austin. Thank you for listening. Thank you for emailing us at ringerfantasyfootball@gmail.com about what did we want? I keep forgetting.
Lucid Dreams.
Lucid dreams, dreams that involve us. Dads. Oh, dads.
Dad
keep emailing
takes.
us. We got some good emails in that. Keep emailing us about your dad takes. My dad thinks he discovered Joe Burrow because he watched him win in the championship game. So email us anything about dads and your crazy
the
parent
talent scout.
takes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lauren.
Lauren.
Thank you, Alien Ant Farm.
Don't know who that is.
They did a cover of what's that song? Annie, are you okay? Annie?
Oh,
What's that song called?
don't know.
Just
I know the
Annie?
song.
Smooth Criminal. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
They did a
Anyway, you okay?
would you tell us if you're okay? Alien Ant Farm did a really cool cover of that. I don't remember what else they did. They were kind of like not a one-hit wonder, but close.
Good for you for finding a band with alien in the name.
You're welcome.
You still got it.
Still can throw heat out
Yeah.
here every once in a while.
You can dial it up every once in a while. Ooh, Annie, are you okay?
Would you tell us?
Da-da.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
You've been hit by, you've been struck by
A smooth criminal.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Goodbye, everyone.
That's good.